So I've been asked by a couple of my friends to help teach some of our newer players how to mod weapons and warframes, but this one's just going to be about the weapons. Now, to start it off, there's now a tutorial quest that'll teach you some of the basics of modding, but I personally feel like it doesn't do a great job in teaching the more nuanced parts of it, like what to mod for. So, the first step is understanding like what your weapon actually does. Understanding like how does this gun work? So here I have the bolter, and this is a gun that kind of shoots decently fast, has a okay fire rate, 60 magazine size, and we'll see that it's got these 4 bars here: critical chance, critical damage, status, and over here, status chance. So the stuff I'm trying to balance out here is its critical chance, which is how often is this going to crit and do bonus damage? Its critical damage, how much is that damage going to be when it's critical? Its status chance, how often is it going to inflict a status effect? And then we've also got one up here that's not showing right now called multi-shot. Now, multi-shot, annoyingly enough, is not one that I have a mod for on this gun, but I will show you a different gun that has that. Okay, so here is our multi-shot. So you'll see, if I pop this mod on, we gain multi-shot. Multi-shot, all it does is make the bullet hit however many times it says. Now, ideally, you'd up it again to be something like 2 shots, so something that whenever you shoot, it's hitting a second time. There we go. So now it hit 2.5 times. And that means that every other thing, so its critical chance, critical, and status chance, will be calculated twice per shot. Now switching back over to the bolter, this is a gun that desperately needs some better mods. Currently, its damage is a whopping total of 25. Now, you have a couple options. You can click on Actions, and then Auto Install to instantly install some stuff. But this isn't really the best. It kind of just gives you a general, like, here's something. But you can easily build it to be better. To do that, I'm going to go over to a new config. So because this gun has a decent fire rate and a pretty decent sized magazine, what I'm going to do is throw on a new ammo drum, and then I can click on any one of these. And if you're on controller, you can still click on any one of these. And I'll just click on whatever category I want. So I'm going to try to go for a status build. Now, you're not going to have all these mods. But this is a mod that I think everybody has, or at least that you can get pretty early on, called Rifle Aptitude. And all it does is just ups your status chance to, going from 14% to 24.5%. Now, to fix our second problem, this ups our ammo, and this ups our status chance. So we want something that'll boost our rate of fire. To do that, we're going to use speed trigger here. And so now we have a fast firing gun that has a pretty decent sized magazine. Okay, so to fix its rate of fire, we throw on speed trigger. This is another easy to get mod. All it does is just boost the rate of fire. And so to actually up our maximum amount that we can have in our magazine, we click on magazine, throw on magazine warp, which just adds extra bullets to our thing. This adds ammo to your reserve. But doing that, we're now going to add a status effect. So currently we have status chance. We need to add an actual effect to it to make it better. So to do this, you can just search for whatever kind of effect you want. So either corrosive, which is what we're going for here. You don't even have to finish typing the whole thing. But corrosive is just toxic and electricity mixed together. And if you have more mods to throw on there, that's better. But we're going to throw on this one. And, well, I'd like to throw on that one, but we don't have the space. And this is where something, it's called a Orokin reactor, would come in handy. I've already installed one on here, but as you can see, this gun is not maxed out. Ideally, we'd throw on a max rank mod, but you don't actually have to. So I'm going to throw on a lighter mod. And there we go. We've got... Oh, that's embarrassing. I threw on the wrong mod. There we go. Now we've got corrosive. I'm actually going to leave that in, solely because I can take this, and if I were to add more toxic damage, which I can't do, it would just up the amount of toxic damage that it would do. But this actually creates corrosive. So corrosive deals 1.5 times damage to Grineer, Kuva Grineer, Scaldra, and half damage to a sentient. And if you have no clue what those are, it doesn't really matter. It just burns up enemy armor. Makes it easier to kill them. Now, that's great. What if your enemy doesn't have a lot of armor but has a lot of shields? Well, then we'll use a different mod. We'll use magnetic. So, magnetic, super easy. We keep the same electricity mod. Take off toxic, replace it with cold. And bam! Now we've got magnetic, which deals bonus damage to Corpus, Corpus Amalgam, Tech Rot, and half damage to armor. Which, again, you don't really need to know. This just damages people's shields. It is important to know that the things here do matter, the order. So, if I remove this mod and take this one off, you can see we can go with a magnetic mod, throw it on there, and I can take a, where was that one we put? I could take a toxic mod and throw it on, and see, now it does toxic damage, but if I move it around, now it does electricity, magnetic, and viral. So, depending on where you rotate these, depends on the way it reads it. If I move it up there, it'll just do electricity. It's a kind of complicated mess. Just play around with it. It'll work out. Now, we're going to try building for critical damage instead. Critical damage, again, it's just how much is the damage going to be multiplied by. So we'll throw on bladed rounds. Actually, we'll throw on vital sense, because that's easier to understand on here. So it jumps up from 1.8 times to 4 times. So, every shot, you have a 10% chance to deal 4 times more damage. Relatively easy to understand, hopefully. But upping your critical chance is pretty easy. You have a ton of mods to pick from. This is going to be the most likely that you'll get early on. It's a great mod to have. You can see it jumps from 10% to 25%. And that means one 4 shots is going to have that 4 times damage. Now, unfortunately, I tried to avoid math as much as possible here, but I am going to have to bring up headshots. Headshots add a 3 times damage multiplier. So, all of this would hit, let's say it's going to do the 100 damage that would occur from a 25 and 4, and then it would multiply itself by 3, so 300 damage on a headshot. Now, unfortunately, there is an additional bit of damage that comes from a critical headshot. That is complicated and doesn't always happen, so it's best to just kind of build around the chance that it might do more damage than it says. So, to finish off this build, I'm going to throw on multi-shot, and more multi-shot, and we can go from here. I'll throw on something to boost its status chance. Okay, one last thing to mention is the schools. You can use these little symbols up here to reduce the cost of mods. So I could take something like this, which is normally 9 points, and would be quite taxing on our build, and you'll see it halves it. It does round up when halving, but now I can throw on, an additional mod like this, whereas before, I wouldn't have had enough to put it on. The next video is probably going to be about how to mod a warframe. Hope you'll stick around for that one.